everyone. Thanks for joining us right here on Midday Kentucky. It is all about men's health, and we are over here at Mr. Cuts. How are is everyone? All men. It's all men here. There they all are, everyone, talking about men's health, and it's all about, for the month of November, men. Let me introduce you to Dr. Jeremy Stich. How are you, my friend, from Access Med?
Doing great.
Now, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your business to begin with. Now, you're an MD.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about how your practice came about.
So it's an interesting question. It's an interesting concept. We're called direct primary care. And basically, we were the first ones in central Kentucky to do this. But instead of operating out of an insurance model, we operate out of a subscription model. It's about $50 a month. Our patients get access to the clinic 24/7, unlimited visits, 24-hour call. There's no copays involved, and then we also dispense and purchase medications at wholesale, and we pass that savings on to the patient. We do the same thing with labs. So in essence, it's kind of a one-stop shop for your primary care, urgent care, and preventative care needs for about $50 a month.
Okay, got you. So one of the misconceptions that you brought to my attention is that you can still have insurance and visit you.
Absolutely, most of our patients do, and we always recommend that our patients have some kind of backup catastrophic coverage.
All right, so we're talking about men's health here on Midday Kentucky, and I want to ask you, what are some of the health concerns that you see here for men in Kentucky?
Sure, there's lots and lots of health concerns, and unfortunately, one of the misconceptions that a lot of folks have is, hey, I'm 20 years old, I'm 30 years old, hey, I'm 40 years old, I'm healthy, I don't need to see a doctor.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes correct and sometimes not, but this isn't 1980 or 1970. Nowadays, we know a lot more about disease prevention. We know a lot about catching diseases and treating them early. And one of the biggest things we need to do is make men aware that their health is also of primary concern. We see a lot of moms, we see a lot of females, and we see a lot of kids who are brought into the clinic, but we don't see the dads as much.
Well, why aren't men coming in? What's the problem?
There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons, Troy. Number one, just the busyness of it. A lot of men...
Yeah, but women are just as busy.
They are.
If not busier.
They are, but men don't put it a priority. Women do. And that's the biggest thing. Is men say, I've got other things to worry about. This is the last thing I'm concerned about. I'll do it later. And they put it off and they put it off. And the females usually make the schedule, and they do it better than guys do.
I think it's the women also that if they see their husbands not feeling well, or they're just a little slightly off, they're the ones that are saying to their husbands or their boyfriends, hey, you need to go to the doctor.
Oh, you're exactly right. Yeah, I can't count how many times I've heard that, hey, my wife's finally made me come in, and guess what? We come to find out that this gentleman might have diabetes, high blood pressure, and if we'd have seen him maybe 2 or 3 years before, we could have talked about, hey, let's talk about preventing this point before we need to start these heavy medications.
Okay. When is it the right time? There must be an age where men need to start thinking about taking care of their health. Forget fitness and all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
I mean going to the doctor, having prostate checks, having testicular cancer checks, colonoscopies.
Sure.
Where are we at with that? Where should we really start?
Well, let's start with just general routine prevention. So I'll start with that one. It used to be that men didn't really come under the care of a doctor until they were in their late 30s or early 40s. That was just a traditional thing, and that's a mindset that somewhat still carries over. The truth of the matter is, we really need to start seeing doctors much earlier than we think about it for the preventative care. It's different for everybody.
Yeah.
But in general, it's a lot sooner than most people think.
Okay.
Let's say you've got a family history of diabetes, high cholesterol, and maybe dad had his first heart attack when he was 56 years old. We see that a lot in the state of Kentucky.
Is that due to an unhealthy lifestyle, or smoking, drinking too much bourbon? Maybe that could keep the cobwebs away. Who knows?
Maybe a little bit. A little bit. It's everything in moderation, right, Troy?
I got you.
So it's a lot of things. There's a big genetic factor too. So there's a lot of diabetes in our state, and because of that, we also have a somewhat sedentary lifestyle. That's a common thing around the United States nowadays. The combination of those two things are deadly, though. And we've got patients who we see start screening at 20 years of age who have triglycerides and cholesterol that's just through the roof. And a little bit of counseling a little bit of lifestyle changes, sometimes medications, sometimes supplements. All those things come into play to really get that person healthy.
I got you. Well, Dr. Jeremy, we want to talk more. We're going to get you back into the studio. We appreciate your time today. Girls, back to you in the studio, and guess what? It's all about men's health, everyone, over here at Mr. Cuts. My little buddy over there, JP, we're going to be chatting to him soon about what he hears in the seat when all the men are sitting down having their beard and haircuts. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Troy. We'll check back in for some more important tips coming up in the show. But, you know, it's all about the men out there, but it's all about the ladies here on the Midday Kentucky set. So thank you for joining us here for Midday. We want to get into our table talk. And, Lisa, I had to bring up this topic to get your